we're gonna get our own show, our own
Ooh.
server. We're not gonna deal with any of that bullshit. So,
Speak it. You got it.
and we're recording, but it's okay. This is what I've been doing lately is like inviting people into my chats with folks. So you guys saw
Mm.
the intro. I'm here with Jamila. At the moment, we're discussing servers and basically just doing shit on my own. Fuck corporate America. Fuck all that stuff that, tells me I have to wait to do something. I'm just going to do it myself.
Yeah, do it.
So, Jamila, good afternoon, evening, whatever. It's evening for you.
Yes, it is.
Now, I get really excited when I come across people of color who jam out to metal and don't let stereotypes compromise their blackness because it
Mhm.
wasn't easy for me to embrace that when I was coming up as a young little pumpkin. So,
Oh.
I'm always interested in the background stories of others like me. So, tell us about young Jamila and when did you realize that you're a metalhead?
Oh wow. Like I probably said this last time, but also I just really feel like I popped out the womb this way. I feel like not like when someone's gothy or whatever, you're really just born this way. Like it's not like it's not a style for me at all. It just so happens that I do fucks with the style. But like I remember as early as like being 4 having like morbid thoughts or something like that. Like just I just knew I was morbid. I remember my parents got me like this like cheap little lip gloss maker when I was like 7 or 8, and I combined all the colors to make black, and it excited me, and I wore black lipstick a lot, but and my parents were pissed off. I remember liking rockers, like rocker type looks, back when I was like 10, like watching like Conan, like him like interviewing rockers. My dad always listened to Jimi Hendrix growing up. Like he always listened to he wasn't frequent on things like Black Sabbath, but those types of genres would pop up too, like bluesy rock, like kind of like basically proto metal, like early stages of metal. So I was just very I as far back as I can remember. So I just feel like young Jamila was just Wednesday from the Addams Family. People always, I used to watch the Addams Family all the time. Adults were like freaked out by me. I feel like the reason why they were freaked out by me, I used to at the time I thought it was mature, but now I'm like, no, it's because I was a gothling. I was a fucking little goth kid. Um, and adults just did not like me that much. Like even my mom just didn't really like me, to tell you the truth. But I made it through, and I think people really wanted to stifle that side of me. They wanted me to like be normal and like just like always see things on the bright side. Not that I didn't, but I'm glad that I was like that as a kid, because now I know
Right?
that like I'm just doing me now. Like that's the reason why I was that way. So I'm not even
You
mad.
you were born a goth metalhead. So it makes me wonder why do people, our parents, our siblings, our
Mhm.
families, our friends, our communities, why do they find the need to stifle it? Is it because they're afraid of it, or is it because they don't know anything about it? My dad had told me, early on, because I was a questioner, I was
Same.
always like, why? Why can't I? And I loved wearing black too. Like, I always gravitated towards black.
Yeah.
Um, but I remember him telling me, like, you need to know your enemies. Like, I remember asking questions, and he had once told me, know thy enemy. So
Mm.
when I did, I found out the enemy that they're referring to either doesn't exist, isn't real, or it's fear. So fear of the unknown, I think,
Mm.
is like, I just want to protect you from what? What is it about being goth metalhead that people are so afraid of?
Right.
Like,
Right.
what is the problem?
Yeah, like
Worshiping
what
the devil? Like,
right.
that's not
I
a thing.
think for me that was a lot of it, because my sister's like in the background right now trying to get the bong. Here you go, baby. I took her back. But yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're a good baby.
You're
Oh, my little baby.
fine.
She's a little alternative person too. She's not a gothling, but she has the mindset of that. And she listens
Love.
to punk and stuff. But I just feel like my parents were like religious. The thing is, I feel like my parents thought they had to be religious. I think that was
Ugh.
more of the motivating factor. I don't think my parents really at their core wanted to go to church. I know my mom, who's from the deep south, I know she really did have something close to her heart with Jesus and stuff, because my grandma was like that. But I really do feel like that also clouded her view because like my mom's used to people being a certain type of way, and I
Mhm.
was the opposite. I not only was I the opposite of her, of what she was raised with, I'm the opposite of what she probably thought black people were like or how a
Mhm.
black child would be like. And I think it really did shock my parents, especially like since my parents were born out of poverty and, you know, um, the education just really isn't about, you're really living in a state of fear all the
Right.
time when you're in
Pressure.
poverty. And yeah, exactly. You don't trust anyone. You're just kind of looking over your shoulder all the time. So I feel like my parents low key did think I was getting into some dark shit. But they see now that I'm not, but in a way, because like I definitely do tarot cards and stuff, which is not bad. But my parents still, like to this day, do not like that I do that.
They feel like it's opening portals and shit like that. I remember another conversation when I was emotional over a particular episode of The Walking Dead.
Oh,
This was back when like it was good, and
I know what you mean.
like where you're like
Yeah.
they really killed off a main character. Like what
Yeah.
the fuck? So I remember being really emotional when Dale died. Like I couldn't sleep. I was horrified. I was really upset. And I remember talking to a religious family member about it, and she was like, "You're opening doors. That's why you couldn't sleep. You could watch the screen, and the screens open portals."
Oh my god.
So I'm like, okay,
It's like the mom from Carrie. It's like, whoa,
yes.
like no thanks.
I don't want to have anything to do with it. So when did you start embracing and studying the occult?
I would say it was after I'm gonna get real here, y'all. I know I always do that with my Pisces
I
ass.
love that.
I'm like, well, she died a couple years ago, and like I'm always like that. So like, about 2017, so almost about three and some change years ago, I got into a weird car accident that I'm gonna actually tell y'all everything. I'm gonna try to make it quick, but I want to tell y'all some things that are really weird.
Do it.
So I got into a really weird car accident, which was my fault because I was acting like a whole nigga, like on the road. I was doing the most. And so, but I had people in the car. That was the worst part. I had people in the car with me, and it was my boss's daughter. So I could have got my boss's 14-year-old daughter at the time killed. So I was acting like wild because we were riding in the hood for doing some work for our job. And so I got hit by a truck because I basically was speeding through a stop sign and didn't look. And that was weird because to tell you the truth, stuff like that doesn't usually happen to me. I'm usually a little bit more careful than that. Honestly, I'm not saying I have good luck. Maybe it's my mindset. But I really do believe that good things happen to me. This is me also speaking it too, to tell you the truth.
Mhm.
But really things like that don't happen to me. So I was really confused. I was hurt. That was actually a car that my boo, his late grandfather who died like I think a year after that or a couple months before that, um, gave to me for free.
Hmm.
And it wasn't just a car to me. It was like a gift from someone who was very important to me. My boo was white as well, and his grandpa, despite him being almost 100 years old and white, I had no, and as an activist, there was no inkling of racism in that man. No
Wow.
inkling of he has never once said anything ever to make me feel like he was trying to make me feel weird for being black.
Wow. That's
He
rare.
treated me
Yeah.
like his own. I was his granddaughter. That's what it felt like. And I was so happy about that.
Well,
So it was
what do you think it was about this particular day that
actually, I might just get into that. Why not? So,
yeah.
for some reason on that day, I was supposed to meet a psychic. Actually, I talk about this
Right.
story on my spiritual journey video on my YouTube
Right.
channel at the Soul of Veganista. So check it out on YouTube, y'all. But at the that day for some reason I had a psychic scheduled, and um my boss still found a way for me to get there because she was the one who helped me set it up because she's
Mhm.
also very spiritually in tune and stuff like that. So she gets one of her friends to drive me there, even though I was just devastated that day. I really didn't want to go, but I also was like, you know what, like fuck it, let's see what's up, because that was weird. I got in a car accident today, never happened to me before. And so the psychic was awesome. We were talking for like 6 hours. She did cards on me. I literally could see that she could see people in the background. She said things that no one has ever known about me that I've never said to anyone. And I'm like, yeah, she's real, because why would she say that to me? Why? I don't even say it to myself because I was too scared at the time. And she confirmed and affirmed so many things for me. It was very powerful. I felt attuned by it to take on spirituality at that point. So basically that answers that question. I started learning tarot cards. She urged that I use tarot cards, that I build ancestor altars, that I really fully practice my spiritual abilities without fear. And I'm very grateful for her, because that began a journey of me learning more about that, learning more about my ancestors. But also that day, she told me that she thinks that, based on a card reading she had, that it's going to give me chills, but I'm going to say it anyway. I rebuke the spirit, whatever. But my boo had an ex-girlfriend, who was also a Black woman, a Black femme. And me and him always got this vibe that she was still watching him or something like that. There was something about her that I could feel, that she was sending some sort of, or like the energy. There was something energetic about her that would kind of follow us around, especially when we lived at his parents' house 5 years ago. We talked about her pretty often because you just talk about stuff like that, your past, and it comes up, and I was appreciative of that. But the more he explained about her, the more that I see that there was some shit like that with her too. There was some intuitive type witchy shit with her too. And her family was from, the reason why it matters that she's Black, her family was from like Liberia or something like that, from actually like the continent of Africa. So she knew some people who were not only like into that type of stuff, but they're from the motherland. So
Right.
they're really into it. So that's the real type shit. No shade towards that. It's neither good nor bad. But so when I heard that, I was like, oh shit, because I was raised around African people. And I know that they be having some things like, they're like, oh, my glasses are gone. Someone cursed me. Like, you know what I mean? That they be saying
Yes.
stuff like that. So I was like, oh shit. So she's African and kind of like intuitive. He made it just see the vibe that he told me about her was that she almost like what she was like possessed or something. There was something possessing her or
See, I've
something.
heard that. I've heard that, and
Yeah.
it's more, it's not like something that you see out of a film or coming from the church or anything, but these things do come in. So like what we're talking
Yeah.
about earlier, portals and whatnot, but there are energies that will take over,
Yeah.
especially empaths. So yeah, it's nothing that
Yeah.
I wouldn't deny.
Yeah. And honestly, I consider demons to be something that we hold, deep within. Like
Right.
that's why shadow work is so important. That's why I constantly talk about shadow work. Especially with my upcoming shadow work club that will be launching this March on my Patreon. So check that out. The Soul Veganese as usual. But yeah, like I think it's your darkness taking a hold of you. And also I do believe that if they're probably wanderings, you probably open yourself up to wandering spirits in the ether,
Yes,
and they see that you're weak and vulnerable and already battling yourself, and manipulate those energies. You know what I
absolutely.
mean? So I believe that could possibly have happened to her too. She probably had demons that she refused to reckon with. Anything could happen. I'm anything. So what had happened was my that psychic lady, she thought from her cards that the girl did that to me.
Fuck.
Yeah, she said that the girl sent some juju to me, and that it obviously went south because I didn't like get hurt. I didn't get hurt by it, maybe mentally. But I wasn't hurt and nobody else was hurt, and that I was very happy about that.
Right.
But let me tell y'all something, y'all. Almost exactly a year later, she died of brain cancer.
Fuck.
But the reason why that's scary is because the lady told me that my ancestors has got my back, and the girl doesn't know who she's fucking with. That's what she said. She was like, "Ooh, just letting you know, she doesn't know who she's fucking with. Your ancestors are strong. They got you." And then lo and behold, a year later, a year to a month later, a year and a month later, she died of brain cancer. And I was like, "Whoa."
Whoa.
Like, what the
Whoa.
fuck was that? And I was like, ancestors, did y'all do that?
Like, so do you guys want to talk later?
Yeah, I was like, do y'all want an offering right now? Because I don't know
Like,
what to say. Like,
like,
that made me nervous.
and it is scary because then you're like, well, you didn't intend, but your ancestor guides were like, well, we did.
Yeah,
It's not cool. It's really not cool. What are the odds? Like brain cancer of all things.
yeah.
So that's insane. So it makes me wonder to just had a thought, and this is why I should get high more often during these shows and just roll with these questions. You know,
Uh-huh.
how many of us as a collective have been hexing Trump and his people, his things for the last 4 fucking years? And what when we were intentionally, I did my first hex Beltane last year. And
Okay.
because I've always been like, well, I don't even though there's people out there that I loathe, I can't I don't know how I feel when they're gone. Plus I think I would
Right.
actually be afraid because I would be like,
Right.
you guys
Like,
are
I'm powerful. Like, I can kill bitches. Yeah.
yeah, which is a little bit like empowering, but it's also frightening, like you were saying. But so it makes
Oh,
me wonder, like, what? Damn, he's in for a lot of shit, and I can't wait. I'm sorry, I just put it out there. I can't wait, but it makes me wonder, like, it took a year for that to happen to you, but I wonder. I guess we're not supposed to look at it, as time, like what's going to happen,
right.
what'll happen, or maybe we're anticipating it so much. Maybe it'll be like, I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, we have to leave it up to the ether. We have to
That's
leave it up to
fair.
them because if we, if we're aligned, it will happen. It is, around the corner. But I'm glad you even mentioned Trump because I don't know if you know what's happening right now and things, but it is getting so wild. And I really do believe that the bad energy, um, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. But I
Yeah.
feel like I can see where the bad energy could actually strike him
Mhm.
because things don't seem like nothing's happening bad for him yet, but I feel like it eventually will.
Oh, it's gonna have to.
Yeah.
It'll be incredible. It's gonna be amazing and just a moment to revel.
Yes. I will
No, and I'm
celebrate.
sorry. I'm not sorry, but it is what it is. I mean, he didn't give a shit about any of us. So, you
We
know,
could all die as he literally left everyone for dead.
yeah, he
So
really, literally, like,
he
is
did.
that, yeah, evil? Like, that's
Yeah.
pure evil. I've never believed in evil until that thing
Right.
came into being. And people that just sit there and keep going with it, I don't understand.
I'm
Um,
so confused.
right? So I don't understand human beings. And
I
I'm like, at this point, how do you live with yourself?
like,
how do you go to sleep at night being that hateful of a person?
like,
My husband was just talking. He had this side job for years, with an
mhm,
independent company, and it was a food manufacturer, food distributor, and they
mhm.
were like really good to him, and we're just living our lives in our suburb and doing these things, and he's working for them. They were paying us, but then during
Okay.
the pandemic, it slowed down. They stopped calling my husband for their
Mm.
technical stuff. So then they stopped paying. Like he sent the invoice, he could tell that they opened it, but then nothing. So out of the blue, they called him like 2 days ago, and we're like, "Hey, we want passwords, and or can you come help us?" And he's like, "No, you haven't
Yeah.
paid me." Blah blah blah. And so then they're like, "Well, can we have our passwords?" He's like, "I'll do what I can," because they had somebody else come in when he stopped going in,
Of
fucking with the
course.
shit. You know what I mean? Trying to save money.
Annoying.
You know what I mean? So then he tells my husband, and my husband goes, "Well, I can't come down there. I'm in the process of moving because we kind of are,
Okay.
and we're moving to Oregon." And he goes, the
Oh.
guy tells my husband, "Well, why aren't you moving to Idaho? That's a red state, motherfucker. Do you know who I am? You're still on that shit." But then it just goes to show people and their perspective and their own worlds are this small. They can't handle bigger things. How are you gonna talk to me like? How are you gonna talk to him like that? It baffles me that when white people talk to my husband like white people, they have no idea like who he is, and it's just baffling and how they would think that he would be married to someone like me, and
Right.
it makes no sense why they would even go there. And I'm like, so they want to
Ghosting.
fight. That's what they want to do. They want to fight
Right, exactly
privately.
right. Let's scrap because like you're talking mess.
Right.
Wow. I'm
Right.
so perplexed because he was first of all, Idaho. Shut up. Shut up. No.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not moving to fucking Idaho. Are you fucking kidding me? No
Bro.
offense to anyone, no shade to anyone from Idaho. I'm just saying, no.
They're,
Yeah.
I can't.
Where
It's
are you? Like, you might as well be Wyoming because no one knows what Wyoming is.
where is
So, like, what doesn't even sound like a state. So, like, that makes me sick because they really do think about that. That's why I call them Trumplicans, because they really do
yes.
believe they're so in love with, I don't know what he does to these politicians to make them literally talk shit about him once the insurrection happened, and then now they're like literally licking his butthole,
Right? Right? Like
like
fuck.
full on rim job.
I I I can't. I wouldn't even pay for that or watch it for free
Yeah.
on Pornhub. Like really,
I know, it's literally reality TV playing before our eyes. It's too good. It's
the
and then
very first episode of Black Mirror when Black Mirror premiered. That's what it is. The pig
legit.
and the dude. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
He's not getting paid enough money.
Oh my god. My stomach is like upset. Like I
I,
cannot.
I have things I'm going to write about later. Now, what
Mhm.
really caught my attention to you was not only your rad fashion style, beauty, taste in music, delicious food that you're into, but what you're actually so fucking well known for is how you highlight shadow work. Because a lot of witches bring it up, but they don't bring it up as often as you do. They put it in
Mhm.
their books as a chapter. They put it in a line of poetry. They put
Mhm.
it into a little bit they do it personally. You know, they do it
Mhm.
privately. But you highlight shadow work. You're really like the only, intuitive person that I speak to that highlights it as much as there is no one like you. So
Well,
it's super important.
thanks.
Yeah, it's super important in this era of awakening. And to me, very vital that every witch embrace shadow work before they even think about, starting to do rituals. I think it's the foundation of witchcraft.
Mhm.
Now, what has inspired, obviously, what inspires you, encourages you to highlight the importance of shadow work? And then talk about your upcoming class.
Oh, sure. So, honestly, I think after that car accident and the situation with the psychic and stuff, and then that January that happened like in December. That January, I got tarot cards. I got things to build an altar. I started watching all these videos online.
Mhm.
And to tell you the truth, there were just not enough Black women online for me talking about stuff like this. There were, and they're awesome, but knowing that, like, they didn't make it like a cutesy. It wasn't like a like, hi guys, my name is Jennifer. We're going to do, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like that type of thing where it was like a cute put together video. It was just kind of like a stream of consciousness type talking.
Uh,
And I was like, you know what? I was like, and then when I learned about shadow work from someone named Teal Swan or something like that, Teal Swan, right? I don't know. Yo, okay, yeah, I don't know. I think her name is Teal Swan. I used to watch her a lot before I found out some weird stuff about her, and she talked about shadow work once or twice, and I was like, and as an activist, like I always try to skew things in a way that like um could be spoken to a Black person, or like that is more like what is it called? Something that has to do with liberation in some way. So I
okay.
guess I kept talking about that because not only did I have like a gothy style, and that kind of like made me feel all like witchy, like even witchier in a way. Um, it like I just felt like no, like I didn't know a lot about it, and because I truly understand it as somebody who does it all the time, I was like, let me like try to help other people, especially Black people, find out how to do it, because like that is
Yes.
like imperative to our liberation.
Yes.
Imperative, is that the word for it? That is tantamount. I'm trying to use all these big words. Tantamount,
Paramount of the utmost
paramount.
importance.
Yes, look at me trying to be all classy. Whatever, paramount for our liberation. So I was like, you know what? Let me try to figure out how to do this in my own way. And then it just spun from there. It wasn't even really a conscious thing. It just happened. Like it was, I think it's also, I did a blog post about it on my like a long time ago. And I felt like that was the moment that I should pick and choose what my theme as the Soulful Veganista was. Because along the years, I just like made food and like did yoga and like sometimes showed an outfit. Like it was just kind of what I do now, but like just in the beginning stages.
Right.
So I don't even really know what the fuck I do. I just post shit. Uh, I just
You
post
sound
shit.
like me.
Yeah, I don't even like, because I think like our themes are like whatever. It's just kind of like our themes are just
Right.
what we do and what we like.
Like, don't
Um,
somebody asked me once, "What's your brand?" I'm like, "Fuck, find out." I don't know. What is
yeah, like you
it?
tell me.
What does that
Yeah,
mean?
shit, help me out because I don't know. Um, but I think at my core, I always like to. I think my thing really is like down to like spirituality and social justice mixed together as my themes because like those at the if you tear away all the other things I do, it comes down to those two things. So
Mhm.
yeah, I wanted to also have like be a platform of someone who's also into spirituality and social justice, because they both need each other. They both
Yeah,
need each other really really bad. And also for just once again I always try to do things for empowerment and education and uplifting of Black people just because we do not have enough of that
that's
at
right.
all.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this, God, fuck, I love you.
Oh, love you
Everything
too.
I need in my life. Now
Oh,
we're living through some interesting times, obviously. I'm gonna
yes.
actually read a little thing here from mylittlemagicshop.com.
Okay.
On February 19th, 2022, the US will have its first ever Pluto return, a groundbreaking moment that changes the world as we know it. Since Pluto is a slow moving planet, its effects extend over the years and after the return. So
Mm.
2020 has already set the wheels in motion for some major transformations. What is your
Um,
perspective on this shift? Because there's other things that I've actually read that explain how Pluto is going to be affecting so much, which is so funny because it's such this tiny little planet. I'm not wonderful with astrology, but I can pick up on certain vibrations. But the
mm,
other things that I've read about Pluto's return is that we are in a period of, I wouldn't say, I don't want to make it sound Christian or anything, but we're in a shift. Like we're in the process of a major shift, and like you said,
mhm,
it is going to get worse before it gets better.
mhm.
And that's fine, but that's where it's very important to kind of let the old ways of being go and
Yes.
start highlighting things like shadow work. So,
Mhm.
what is your perspective on this shift?
I definitely agree with that. I can't even pretend to know I know much about Pluto returns and things like that. I don't really even know much about Pluto itself. But I will say that I totally agree, especially with the events that we expect to be happening around that time. A
Mhm.
lot of GOP members or Republican members are trying to be up for reelection
Yeah.
next year. Like the QAnon people are really starting to like they don't care that they've been taken advantage of and scammed really. I'm still confused. We can go on all day about that. They have been all scammed, even politicians, even
Right.
when he left them for dead during their insurrection,
Yep.
and they're still once again licking his asshole. So
Hmm.
basically, we're gonna see how that's gonna really play out around that time. And I feel like it's not going to play on the way that they think. They're trying to make their own party. Um, I just feel like we're gonna see that we're like, oh yeah, we need to really get rid of this. I feel
Yeah.
like they're making our case so much better because they're
Right.
showing the world how ridiculous white terrorism is. It's
Yep.
ridiculous, and right now they're trying to defend it. They're scrapping to to their dead. Like they're really trying to like go all out before they go.
Hmm.
And I just really feel like it's they're just trying to cling on to all their advantages because now people are finally pestering them about it and they can't take the heat
Oh no,
and
they can't.
they cannot take the heat. And it's so that's why we're talking about TikTok comments. At this point, I'm trying to empower Black people during this time to remind us that like all those comments, all the denial from our experiences, all the hate that they give us are all lies. We have to remember and not back down. We have
That's
to
right.
stand firm and be like, look, I know you hate me for no reason because of your own conditioning and your own ignorance, but I'm right. I'm sorry. Like y'all did this and y'all continue to do it, and it's y'all's problem. So
Yep.
fix it. And that's
And
kind of
we're
what it
not
comes
gonna
down
back down.
to. Yeah. I
But
feel
this
like oh,
they're gonna
sorry, but
keep
you go
trying
ahead,
to
bro.
they're gonna keep trying to kill us. They're gonna keep trying to make excuses and call people immigrants. They're gonna keep trying to deny us basic human rights.
Mm,
As simple as walking down the street or offering jobs. Watch how that's going to fare for you with this next generation coming up. Like this isn't, it's not going to fly like it did. We're not obedient little, Black people. Like I'm
yeah,
sorry, the boomers, you guys fucked up. You guys were obedient little brats, is what it was. You guys, took the work that your parents did and the little bit of the tail end that you had, and then saw the freedom in, like, you know, freshmen into college. They went crazy and just started making families and doing the white thing. I'm sorry, it's a white thing that these boomers wanted. And yeah, there's no more obedience. There's not going to be obedience to these rules that were set before because they're not
Right.
rules to us, they're oppressive. So
Right. Yeah.
and what a
Because
time, you know, it's, I love living in this time, you know, because at
yeah.
first I thought my life was going to be pretty unremarkable.
Yeah. I mean,
You know,
it's a great time. So many fun shits are happening, you know,
right?
and like to go back to that, like, because I feel you on that, because I understand that they had to do what they had to do for survival. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? You have to, do this and do that. But I think what, like, we kind of fell into a trap where, like, white people were trying to package up like the blue collar, like, middle class thing for
Mm-hmm.
us, and tried to kind of be like, oh, everything's okay now. Just, we're allowing you to move into this area. You can
Yeah.
go here. We kind of got a little complacent. But I'm just so glad that we're having this uprising, and I feel like it's going to come to a head a lot next year, especially
Yep.
around the political term, most likely, because I really feel like white terrorism is going to eat itself. I
Yeah.
feel like the next year that we're going to see all the Trumplicans, like, and the QAnon people, them get so they're going to get so empowered, and the Boogaloo Boys, Proud Boys, all of them, they're going to be so empowered, and they're going to make an event, and they're going to do something, but it's going to severely backfire, or it's not going to do what they thought it was going to do. And it's going to ruin everything and crumble. And people are going to have to be forced to deal with white terrorism at this time. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? We're forced to be like, white people, y'all gotta do what y'all gotta do. Even if you don't think you're in this, you do it. Whatever you gotta do it, because racism, classism, whatever, we're not the only ones oppressed here. Y'all deal with classism too. So y'all
Yeah.
are affected by your own systems. So
Yep.
get your people. Get your people. We don't have
I
time
love
anymore.
that. I love it. It's because it's true. Get your own.
Yeah.
What side of history do you really want to be on, or just not even history, existence? What side
Yeah.
of existence do you want to be on? And it's baffling to me. Um,
Ugh.
now let's see here. Oh, let's talk about the Afro-Vigos. I smoked a did you see
Afro
it?
Vegan Society.
Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Okay, actually, I'm gonna talk about my shadow work club later. I totally spaced on saying something about that. But
Oh
yes,
wait, do
African
shadow work first, and
society.
then we'll talk about it.
Okay, cool. So, I've been really busy with work with Afro Vegan Society,
Yeah, you
in
have.
general. But right now, but the thing is, I want to take the solo veganista stuff seriously too. I believe consistency is key. I have no idea what I'm really kind of working for when I'm doing stuff, to tell you the truth. But I'm just putting out content in the hopes that I figure things out, to tell you the truth.
Yes.
So while I'm so busy with AVS, I really want to, like, I just, have my passion shits when I have the time, or when I make the time for it. So I was like, you know what? I want to have more of a community with the people who support me most and don't mind actually monetizing shit, because, like, I would like to get paid for the content I do. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
buying all this shit. You know what I mean? I'm buying all this shit,
absolutely.
and taking time out of my busy ass schedule already with AVS, and, like, so I wanted to do something on my Patreon, and I want to also be more on YouTube. So Shadow Work Club is just, I feel like I shadow work has actually become my thing more. I've been talking about it for 3 years now, and honestly, I didn't realize that people really consider me that in that way. But that makes me happy that people do, come to me for stuff like that. So,
Yeah, we need you. People need to know it's not a love and light only type of existence.
I just, I
Love and light only.
I can't. Like, I wish I was like that sometimes. I wish. But, like, people just need, it's okay to feel dark sometimes, y'all. Feel your feelings, do what you gotta do. Look at your darkness. You don't have to wallow in the pain, but we
Yeah.
can't always wallow in the light. That's very avoided. So yeah, I want to create a community of people who really wanted to, like, do shadow work together. I'm really, once again, I'm a community-based activist, in my opinion. And I can't be with my community right now because of COVID and respecting everybody's distancing. I never leave the house really unless I'm going to the gym. But now that it's, like, kind of snow and shit, I'm trying to, like, stay home for the next couple days. So this is a way for me to build community during this time. That is
Hey,
a community of people who are, like, not only possibly Black, but also probably alternative, probably, into social justice, anyone who supports me in that way. So I just, the the tiers and the donations from Patreon gives me the energy I need to do to give that type of energy back. So I can give them information about shadow work, my own personal journey with it, what they can do it, just talking with them one on one, just making it a very intimate thing. And so far, so good. I'm trying to be better at Patreon, but it doesn't start until March.
Okay. And see, March is around the corner. I can't believe it.
Mhm.
I think that's really important. I was reading, I actually interviewed Matt Oren recently, who's a witch that I love fantastic author. I'll
Ooh,
let you know about the Psychic Witch here in a little bit.
please do.
But on even on his Patreon, like it never occurred to me to implore the community that asks so much of you and depends on your advice and your wisdom and all that to actually go ahead and pay you for those things because it is
Yeah,
worth your time. And plus, to me, it's kind of like inspiring for the people who are paying for your words, your creativity, that so you can have more time to do it for them. It's
exactly.
inspiring to them to go, see, you don't have to do these weird jobs in order to
Mhm.
do or to do these jobs that you don't want to do, like fast food, grocery stores,
Mhm.
whatever, so that to make a living, to do the art that you want. So I think it's part of that, this shift in society where you don't have to work a job in order to be successful. But I do
Exactly.
believe that it is important to pay for time. And you're reading the books, you're giving the advice, you're doing what you're doing. Yeah, pay for that, or else I won't be able to give it to you as much. Um,
Right. And I'm like black and femme, and it's kind of like people really ask a lot of us just in general. Like I feel like people want me to be their mama, people want me
yeah.
to be their therapist. And look, I have my problems of my own, and I'm not allowed to share it unless and then if I am, I'm being angry. So please give me time to recoup and relax.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean?
I love it. Right.
People try you. Like people think that racism is a joke. No, people try you.
And I was just watching this other episode of Blackish. I love that show so
Oh,
much.
I've
I
never
just
seen it
found
before.
why. It's actually really good for families, especially. In fact, I love that my white family actually watches it too, and
Oh.
it's such a good show. But the other day, Dre was talking about his wife's cousin or something was always considered himself an activist, and he's white. And
Hmm.
so he called him. He's like, Dre, we gotta fix the country right now. Like we've got everything so wrong, and just the fact that some white people are really starting to see how shitty things are thanks to the pandemic. Their eyes are open. They're forced to be.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting too how like black people are so overwhelmed with advice nowadays. Like, hey, how do I not be a dickhead? How do I not be a
I know.
racist? So like we
Oh
can talk
God.
about these things, but you have to respect my time. you know?
Exactly. And as an activist, I'm like there was a point in time where I was just constantly burdened from that. Not
Mhm.
only that, but also spiritual advice. Cause so I would get people trying to like be more socially aware and then people trying to be more spiritually aware. So it's like, oh my God, like do I ever
Yeah.
have time to just relax? And also just like what you were saying, through COVID, people are realizing, especially if hopefully that I'm like gonna what we're going to see is from the Texas situation, what's going on in Texas right now,
Mhm.
which is absolutely terrible. I don't care if you're a red state, blue state, you do not deserve that. You deserve better leadership. And my heart goes out to you and your family. But like, um, there's no but to that. I still believe that. There's no but hopefully some people see, especially if they're white, this is what happens when people leave you for dead and leave you in the
Yep.
cold. And that's what happens to a lot of black people. We get the resources last. It's
Yep.
either more expensive, heavily taxed, not accessible, not affordable, and we really get the scraps, literally, even from our own history in this country, like with chattel slavery and stuff like that. When we were in
Mhm.
captivity, we were just always given the scraps, and people think it's funny. And when we get one piece of a pie for our own, it's ripped away from us,
That's
from
right.
the feds. So, and that's a historical fact. This is not me being an activist. I don't consider myself to be like right, left, liberal, conservative. I believe what I believe. That's it. So, yeah, I don't
It's
know what my point was, but yeah.
I'm glad the only one who does that. I'm like,
Yeah.
but you heard what I said.
Yeah. I said
Like
what I
we get you,
said.
Michelle. We get you. We get
Yeah.
it. So who would you consider your top three favorite metal bands? We have to talk about
Oh,
music just a little bit.
oh yeah. Oh my God. First of all, I try not to like always put them in stuff, but I really love incantation. It took me everything in my power not to wear an incantation shirt because I have like 5 or 6 shirts from them, and I really love them. I don't
What's
know what
wrong with
it is
that?
about them. They're like black and death metal. It's just like evil and like almost ambient and like weird, and I just love their music. It's just so evil and demonic. And I would probably say second to that is probably maybe Death. Maybe Death. Chuck Schuldiner was a great musician, great vocalist. Their music is very timeless. Like I even like their proggier shit too, and I'm not like much of a proggy person. And then I would say the third one, oh, it's always old school death metal. Let me choose someone that's more modern. I would say maybe Defeated Sanity. And what makes it better about Defeated Sanity is that my boo is good friends with their drummer, and he's an
Oh
amazing
fuck yeah.
classically trained musician. Their music is just like it's top tier death metal. It's like it's
Mm.
not just like like behind it. It might sound disgusting and sludgy, but behind it is actual rhythms and amazing polyrhythms and all the weird. It's amazing death metal. Like classy. To me, it's just like you know what
I
I
need to
mean?
see it. Okay, I've never heard of them, so I need to make sure that I tune in tonight because I want to know what you're feeling. I want to know
They're
exactly what you're
amazing.
talking about. So,
Yeah, they're
okay, what advice would you give to people of color who are esoteric, weird, and who can feel themselves awakening to their spirituality, but still, even in this day and age, are afraid to do so out of fear or judgment or breaking traditions?
I would say, I know this is typical of me. I would say to explore what your fears are. Explore within what your fears are. Use your intuition. Use help from your guides, ancestors, and angels. Write down in a journal. Like just ask yourself 21 questions. Meditate on your inner child. Meditate on your past experiences. Meditate on your traumas. Like just really try to analyze where like the root of these fears, because usually you'll find out that it's from conditioning. You probably were raised to believe that you can't explore those things because it's evil. You probably got that from the church. You probably got that from the media, blah blah. You probably you know had certain experiences that shamed you into believing that. You probably saw an you know you someone probably talked down to you about it. There's so many things that like make us who we are, and when we don't really when we ignore our darkness, we're like kind of denying who we are,
Mhm.
because they shaped us just as much. And it's really honestly the negative experiences that like make us stronger. So it's kind of like if we don't analyze like why we feel hurt from those situations, we'll never move on from them. So
That's right.
like I would say analyze your fear in any way you can through shadow work, because it's going to be paramount to your success in whatever you're trying to achieve. So, yeah, I would say like once you're done doing that, honestly, once you're doing that, you're basically going to be like, oh, my fears aren't real. You know
That's right.
what I mean? That's literally what happens when you do shadow work. You're kind of like, oh, I'm worrying about this for no fucking reason. I should just live my fucking life because no one deep down really cares. And if they care, they can suck my ass.
Let's
You know what I
lick
mean?
it. Lick it.
Right, exactly. Like it, please. Um, so it's just kind of like yeah, I would just say that like being authentic is your birthright, especially as a black person or brown person, whatever. That's your birthright. You're supposed to, regardless of what color you are, you're supposed to live your fucking life. Unfortunately, capitalism, white terrorism, global anti-blackness, all those types of isms and shit stifle certain people, and it hurts really bad. But nothing can really bar us from being ourselves. Like of course, we have to like pick and choose who we show that side to, but we should all be free to do what we feel unless we're hurting someone. When you're
Exactly.
hurting someone, that's when you really have to analyze what's up with you.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, so that's pretty I think that's okay, yeah. I guess we could say that.
That was a perfect answer, to be quite
Thank
honest with
you.
you. And it just makes me realize how I was born too early. But again, what a time to be living in. Just, I wish I
Yeah.
had this advice and this community here, or, just even the connections. I bet you if we had, you know, social media or even, well, I guess we had like pen pals and shit, but how did you really get to meet people that were like you?
Yeah.
Other than, you could go online and actually pick and choose,
Right.
what communities you want to, place yourself in. I've always just
Mhm.
adapted to wherever I was, but
Yeah.
now just being able to say, fuck all this, I am who I am.
Mhm.
At this time of my life, it's pretty badass. I can't complain about time. I really shouldn't be bitching about timing because fuck, I'm old, considered older, but I've never felt more fucking free. I've never felt this good. So,
Yeah.
speaking as a 40, almost 41-year-old human being.
I love it. I mean, I'm about to be 30 next year and I'm really excited for it
Oh,
because I fucking know myself. And that's why I don't want to be fucking 21. Are you fucking kidding me? I was an idiot when I was 21. I
listen,
want to be fucking 30. I know
30 was
myself.
badass. I was like, I'm a real adult now.
Yeah. I feel like a fucking adult. I take care of myself. I have everything I need. I know myself now. Life is good.
Yes, yes. I have a 21-year-old who's on the same thing. Like, this fucking sucks being
Oh,
21.
oh my
And I'm
God.
like, I remember
Yes.
it being fun, but I was all drunk the whole time, so I don't remember much of it,
I feel
or
you.
what was real or wasn't real. But it's just funny how, like, we weren't raised the same as our parents, and our parents were trying to raise us, to live the same way they did.
Hmm.
Nowadays things, I hope more families are progressive in raising their children and just letting them be them. Like, we have so
Yeah.
much to learn from children. It's not the other way around.
Yeah.
Their wonder, it's their excitement, it's their energy. We have so much to learn from children.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Literally.
I've always felt it interesting. Like, we should be giving children a bit more respect and just not treat them like little pets. They're actually
Yeah.
they're more connected than we are. So children
Yeah.
are amazing. And here's me going off on a tangent. I have no idea where it came from.
No, I mean, I'm gonna have to tag on with that because I think that like I like along with shadow work, I like to talk about something called like inner child work. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Our childhood it really did shape us. It really did,
yes.
determine like what we were made of, really. And when we were children, we were free. We didn't give a fuck about people's opinions. It didn't matter. Um, but people shun and abuse and like take advantage of kids and it's so annoying because like they're really just pure and like you're ruining their
Right.
lives for them to basically like probably be violent in the future. So it's
Yep.
like, okay.
I'm gonna have to reference an episode of Shameless to you. That do you watch that show by any chance?
My sister Maya, you're here. Okay, no shit.
Such
My
a good.
sister watched it like 7 times all the way through.
I will. That's one of those shows I would watch over and over again. Like
Yeah.
Breaking Bad. I watch
Yeah.
that. My husband and I watch that like 3 or 4 times a year. We're absolutely
Wow.
because we love that show so much.
It's a good
But it's
show.
yeah, it's like Shameless too. We love that one too. But I'm gonna give a little spoiler for the episode from last Sunday. Um, V and the twin girls V goes to school with the twins, and
Mhm.
she experiences the school's lockdown routine, active shooter routine, how they practice for that.
Oh.
And it's a show, but I wouldn't put it past shit in America. The school's well underfunded, so the school decided to take over how they were going to do active shooter training in the age of the Rona. So they basically
Mm.
picked the kids and made it a game, and gave or said, "Hey, who wants to be the shooter?" And gave the little white boy a Nerf gun, and then V's twins, V's going, "What the fuck is this?" And so
Yeah.
V's kids decided they or got picked to be the runners, and they had to go run to the bathroom to go hide. So this is how they're doing this, and the white kid's going through the hall shooting kids. And so yeah, your face is how we were like, what the and V, she's like, what the fucking shit. And the
Yeah.
school's thing, and she tried explaining like, what you're doing instead of trying to protect the kids and training them how to deal with an active shooter training. This isn't earthquake drill. This isn't a fucking
Yeah.
fire drill. This isn't a tornado drill. And you're sitting here training this white kid to be an active shooter because he's having a fucking blast with it.
Yeah. What the
And so
hell?
the principal's excuse was we're underfunded and just a bunch of bullshit because I think me and my husband were still like,
Yeah.
we couldn't even hear what the principal was saying. But
Yeah.
it was just, and
Cringy.
like I said, I wouldn't put it past, schools going to doing that desperate measure, thinking that they're doing something right and helping the children
Yeah.
survive an active shooter, when in fact they're training for it. I think it's funny here where I live, they have the police department do active shooter training.
Okay.
And
See,
I'm
this is
like, what
why
the fucking shit?
I don't trust politicians. I don't trust anybody because they're so out of touch with reality of what it means to be blue collar. I was raised blue collar. I know what it means to be like, we weren't in poverty, but I know what it feels like to be poor and have to scrimp to save. I do. So they're so out of touch with reality. They really think that like people need no resources, no training, no blah blah. They really are just once again give you the scraps and then think they're like, oh, fend for yourself. Like
Yeah.
I know this is off of a tangent. I know we have to wrap it up. I understand. But I don't know
Go.
if you heard about the ex mayor of the Texas city, Colorado City in Texas. Everything that's going on in Texas right now and other states too. But in Texas, someone from Colorado City, the mayor of it basically wrote a letter, like I think a few days ago, saying like, "Oh, just shut up and stop asking us for help and a handout. Do fend for yourselves. Like, don't y'all have any survival skills? Like, and to me, that's just you're so out of touch with reality because you probably have heat, you probably have working electricity, and yet you're sitting here, the mayor. You're supposed to be offering these sort resources to us. You choose to do nothing about it because you believe that our suffering doesn't matter. So
Right.
yeah, it's just like that. Like they're like, whatever, let's people are gonna be shooting, who cares, let's not tackle the real problem here, blah blah, because there's a deeper problem than just school shooters, so they shouldn't be normalizing it like that.
Exactly. And you know how
Yeah.
I wouldn't what you just said just it floors me because you know how often I've heard that from people where I live,
What?
in this fucking stupid ass suburb that's so insignificant
Oh
to LA.
yeah.
And how often I've heard that same shit. Well, they just need to get off their ass and not be lazy. But these are the same people bitching about, a Mexican immigrant getting a scholarship over their fucking lazy ass little punk ass, white kid who they could afford college for. It's so
Literally.
funny to me why white people or white rich people especially think that they should earn free shit for having money.
Yeah.
It makes no
It's
fucking sense to me. But
the
we'll revisit that.
entitlement.
Yeah,
Oh
we'll
yeah, we could
revisit
talk about
that.
this a whole yeah.
Right? But we are unfortunately fucking out of time. God
Oh,
damn it. It has been a wonderful fucking conversation. I love the fuck out of you more and more every time that I watch your stuff and we talk. You just blow my mind, and I
thanks.
appreciate you. So keep doing what you're doing. We'll put up where to find you. Your Patreon, it's still under the Soulful Veganista.
Yes, say
Okay.
patreon.com/the soul veganista.
All right, I'll have the links up for every one of your platforms, especially that Patreon in big ass letters.
Thank you. But I also forgot to talk about Afro Vegan Society. So definitely if you could do
Yes.
afrovegansociety.org/veguary really quick. We're in the middle of our Veguary campaign, which helps people go vegan while also learning about Black history and Black vegan trailblazers and stuff. So it's a Black empowerment month-long vegan event. Anyone can sign up for free at any time of the month. And you can just go to our website, afrovegansociety.org/veguary to sign up or just to get in with the program anyway, because we have content for it every day. All right. That's it.
No, that's perfect. I'm actually gonna throw that up on the blog.
Oh,
Anyways, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time.
bye-bye.